just came out, The Voice of God with Dipbrow, Stephanie Gretzinger, and Chandler Moore. Some of the most talented voices. And shout out to Dante. He's like my worshiper crush. Hey, if you watch this for some reason, I ain't no major channel yet. You got that yet? Anyway, oh yeah, shout out to Beacon Threads. Gotta let go, do your thing. They're not sponsoring this. They didn't send this to me. I bought this with my own monies. Black owned and supports the big man, Big G God. Anyway, so I'm on so I can tell my testimony. Hopefully I'm not gonna take too long with this. I'm gonna give you the shortened version. I'm writing a book. Hopefully you'll support. And details on the face, because I mean I look out flawless or whatever. Oh, and shout out to my barber, Tree the Barber. Go to atxgroomer.com. The book, if you're in the Austin Metro, Round Rock, Pflugerville, surrounding areas. I'm just big on like big up and people. Anyway, details on the face. So face. On the face, I use milk primer. I use the milk primer. I use Fenty in 440. I use Shape Tape in the color Deep to highlight. Use the Fenty Matchstick-Espresso. Eyebrows are Anastasia Dipbrow Pomade in Chocolate. On my eyes, it's the nude Huda palettes. The little tiny ones are like $29 or something like that. Eyeliner is Clinique Fine Line Liner. My lashes are the 126s in Eyelure. Hopefully y'all can see that. Nye powder in Topaz. I use the MAC Mineralized Skinfinish in Deep Dark. What else? My bronzer is the Covergirl bronzer in Ebony, I guess. And my lips, this is Chestnut lip liner, and then there's some sort of Makeup Forever lip liner. It's like a lighter brown, and then I use the Huda liquid lipstick in the color Flirt. Anything else? Oh, blush, something I can't think of right now. And then I use Blunt as my my cheek contour, powder contour. Yeah, and then these nails, these are Kiss press on nails. I like that nail a lot because it's kind of holographic, I guess. Anyway, so enough of the details, right? Let's talk about 2 years, well, almost 3 years ago now. So 2018, March 7th, or the night going into March 7th. So at this point in my life, I'd broken up with my ex a couple months prior to that. Going through a lot of life changes. Like, I quit my job. I put all this money to the side. I was getting ready to move to Dallas. Didn't have a job lined up. I'm just thinking, okay, I'm gonna do this on faith. Let's go. I don't have any real plans. Anybody who knows me knows I like to plan. And if it doesn't go as planned, I am distraught. Anyway, so that night I talked to my cousin, Stephanie. Shout out to Steph. Anybody knows me knows I don't like medicine and I don't like going to the doctor. And I don't get sick often. Thank God for that. But she had told me that night, Lisa, go to the ER if you need to. Thankfully, she did say that to me because it was in my spirit. Because I was having a hard time breathing, and so my mom kept telling me, you need to go to the emergency room. You need to go to the doctor. I'm like, I'm not trying to hear it. I'm sitting here, I'm taking my I'm taking this little concoction that I made with ginger and lemon and honey and drinking that, and I'm thinking I'm gonna be fine. Well, I got to a point where I got kind of scared because I was like, I tried to lay down and go to sleep, and I was like, nah, I can't do this. I feel like, you know, if I lay down, I ain't waking up. So anyway, I told my mom, I said, Mom, I think I need to go to the emergency room. Now all I'm thinking is I need to go get a breathing treatment, and I'll be going right back home because we'll open everything up and I'll be great, right? Anyway, so it was kind of cool outside. I got this sweater, and I'm gonna insert a picture somewhere around here. Of what I wore. So I thrown that sweater, or hoodie on rather. Hoodie on, put on some shoes. And you know, I'm telling my mom to run red lights to get to the emergency room. The emergency room is about not even 15 minutes away from my house. So we get there, and they check me right in or whatever. They go immediately into the breathing treatment. So we're doing the breathing treatment. My mom had parked the car or whatever. Doing the breathing treatment, and it's doing absolutely nothing. And I'm telling them. They asked me, how do you feel? I'm like, it's not doing that. I'm crying at this point because I'm like, I don't know what the heck is going on. So anyway, so they take me, like, okay, let's do a CT scan. So get into the CT scan machine. Anybody, if you have to do a CT scan machine or do a CT scan, blah, they will they inject you with this contrast, and it makes you feel like you just kind of gonna pee. Feels like you gonna pee, like you peed on yourself. It's crazy, but anyway, whatever. So I lay down, and honestly, I can't tell you what happened after that. I just know that I wake up. The next time I wake up, I'm in a completely different hospital. So what happened was, and I'll insert a picture of what that CT scan looked like, probably around here. And so my airway was about that big, probably. It's amazing and miracle that I was alive, didn't die or whatever. I know my mom told me that the doctor at the emergency room told her that if I had waited like 3 to 5 more minutes, I probably wouldn't be talking to y'all right now. So I know God is real. So what actually happened is, after the CT scan, they saw, and they just rushed and they intubated me. They ended up intubating me because my airway was extremely narrow. So they had me intubated, and when you're intubated, because they're sticking literally a tube down your throat to breathe for you, they knock you out because, you know, stick something down your throat, you're gonna gag, whatever. So golly, it's such a long story. I'm trying to condense it as much as possible because it's a lot. My pulmonologist was the one that was called. Like, they transferred me to a different hospital because the hospital they were at didn't have the tools to like, you know, keep me breathing and all that other stuff. And I guess the doctors weren't as competent there. So the doctor I was actually to see, Dr. Hines, like, shout out to him because of him and Dr. Sebastian, which was my ENT, I'm here today. I might sound a little gravelly, but you know what? I'll take that over the alternative. So Dr. Hines was actually in Dallas. They had called him, and he took me as his patient, took me on as his patient. They ended up doing a biopsy to make sure that the mass that they were seeing, because there was a mass that was pushing my trachea closed, essentially. Like, so the mass is here, this is my trachea, and it was just pushing it closed. So if you look at that picture once again, I might insert that here again. You can see how tiny my airway was because that mask was pushing it close. And so they did a biopsy and they noted that it was a benign tumor. Thank God. So they removed it. In talking to my doctors, because mind you, you don't get a lot of information on what's going on with you whenever you're asleep majority of the time. Like I was put in like induced comas and stuff like that. You know, but I found out a lot of stuff afterwards. Like apparently the mask was actually like in 2 pieces, and they had to cut through my trachea to get to it. And I don't know, like talking to the doctors, like a lot of the positioning of this stuff, it was like in like places that made it extremely difficult. And to sit here and say I didn't completely know like the extreme, like how extreme this was, would probably be a little bit of a lie, because I was dreaming while all this stuff was going on. I quite literally saw the demon that was trying to take me out. Now, y'all may not believe in that type of stuff, but I do. I believe in the spiritual realm. The spiritual realm is more real than the realm that we live in. But I literally saw the demon that was trying to kill me. And then there were some other things that happened in another dream that let me believe that, yeah, there was really something out there trying to, you know, take me out of this earth, really. Anyway, so they knew that the tumor was benign, and so they went in, they took it out. I know y'all can see my lovely little scar here. I mean, thankfully it's not like super crazy, but they put a stent in to keep, you know, the airway open, because who knows how long this thing had been pushing in. And it was crazy because it was pushing in a way that you couldn't see anything going on right here. Normally with stuff like that, you would see it, but you couldn't. The only reason why I knew it was happening is because I couldn't breathe. So I was in the hospital around a month, just a little less than a month. And I was getting ready to be discharged. So the night before I'm supposed to get discharged, my face starts like blowing up. Now, mind you, I've taken more medicine than I've probably ever taken the entirety of my life. So I'm thinking, okay, I must be having an allergic reaction to something, right? Well, they did 2 rounds of steroids and Benadryl. My face was blowing up. My right eye was like swelling shut. So once again, I got to do another CT scan, right? So they do the CT scan. They see that I've blown a hole in the stent. And then there was a hole in, like I told you, they had to cut through my trachea. So apparently I'd got a pneumonia, which was causing me to cough, and I've been coughing that whole week, but I felt fine, but I was coughing. And I'd blown a hole, or one of the sutures had opened up from me coughing. And I was coughing because of the pneumonia. So they had to go in, take out the stent. I forgot what they said they ended up doing, but there was some tube that was put in, and they ended up giving me a tracheostomy. Tracheostomy is those little tubes that stick in your throat. Typically smokers get this or whatnot. Smokers and like older people with like really worn down respiratory systems or whatever. So yeah, so I didn't end up going home, and I was mad, and I couldn't talk at that point because the cuff, which is that little hole, was too big, and you needed something called a valve to keep, be able to speak. So yeah, I ended up getting transferred to a rehab, and I was there for pretty much another month, where they were helping me with cleaning out. Let me just tell you, having a trach is disgusting. You have these things called secretions, basically just mucus, disgusting, gross mucus, and something that your body naturally like gets rid of. But when you have that hole, apparently it all comes up. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's gross. Just want you to know how gross it was. It's because my mom was like grossed out all the time. She was just like, oh, oh. I'm like, oh, thanks, Mom. You're making me feel real great about this. Shout out to you. Still love her though, just because she was there like the whole time. I think she was a lot better whenever I was in rehab, because I was actually awake, you know, and moving around and stuff like that as much as I could. So I had that for about a month. They changed the cuff so that I was able to talk with the valve, and then towards the end of that month, which was the end of April, they ended up taking out the tracheostomy. So then I got sent home and had this lovely little hole that healed up. This thing got opened up about 3 different times. And now my breathing's a little weird, and I sound gravelly a lot. But I'm here. Thank God. I'm still here. So, I was talking to that doctor, Dr. Hines, getting his portion or his view on everything that happened. And he was like, yeah, what happened to you was supposed to kill you, but you're still here, and that's a blessing. And I've been thinking about it, and I'm just like, it is a blessing. And I did allow certain things, like, I'm not gonna lie, after I got out, I was a little depressed because I was ready to move to Dallas. I was ready to just kind of start over, and like this thing just kind of knocked the wind out of me, almost literally, quite literally. Ate up all my money because I had to, use that money that I put to the side for Cobra, which is like $600 a month, which is crazy. Like medical care, and that was rude. Medical care in the US is ridiculous, and there's got to be a better way, but that's neither here or there. But like I said, I am grateful that I'm here. I'm grateful that I'm speaking with y'all, and I'm grateful to know that there is something about my life that scares Satan so much that he tried to take me off this earth early. But I know one of my constant prayers has been, Lord, do not allow me to leave this earth without fulfilling my purpose. So one of my purposes, I think, now is to share this testimony and let people know God is for you. You may not necessarily see it in every respect of your life, but God is always looking out for you. His hand is always on your life. When I tell you there were so many just God winks in that whole situation I went through almost 3 years ago now. Like, I mean, you'll get more detail on that in the book. Be looking out for that. My plan, my goal is to have this out by the end of this year. But when I tell you it is nothing but the grace of God that I'm here. And I'm extremely grateful. And every time I hear a different facet of this story from a doctor or somebody that was praying for me, because when I tell you I had a lot of people praying for me, my family, friends, people from all over the world, like quite literally were praying for me. And it blows my mind. I'm thankful that I'm here, and I plan on using every bit of life that I have left to glorify God in all things. And y'all will be seeing more of me. There are things that I've got planned. I've got projects. There are things that I want to do to help pick up women, young women, and let them know that God sees you and know who you are in and through him. But yeah, I'm just grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be able to say that I serve a mighty God that is bigger than any of your circumstances. I got knocked on my butt for a little bit, but I'm back and I'm better. Not Bryson Tiller though. Anyway, if you got any questions, leave them down in the description, or leave them down in the comments. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. If you have any questions, ask questions in the comments. And I'm here for y'all. Like, I want to be an encouragement to anybody that might not feel so encouraged right now. And I mean, we are in a weird time. 2020 has been pretty dynamic, but I do want to make sure that I can help whoever I can and encourage. Just know that you are dope. Just keep doing what you're doing, and God is with you, and God loves you, and I love you. Anyway, y'all, stay dope.